detected EPYC 7713 processor on Zen 3, 64 cores, 128 threads and 2.45 GHz. As you know, the Ryzen 5000 series desktop processors based on the Zen 3 architecture were released yesterday, and today the first leaks of information about the third generation EPYC Milan server processor line began to be received. The EPYC Milan processor, known as the EPYC 7713, was found by the infamous Momomo_US in the C software database. The new EPYC Milan processors are expected to begin shipping later this year, with full availability scheduled for next year. It looks like the first chips are indeed shipping already and are now starting to appear more frequently in online test databases. The sample in question today is called AMD EPYC 7713. The chip was presented in the Gigabyte MZ72HB000 server with two SP3 sockets and support for EPYC chips with a TDP of up to 280W. The motherboard has 16 DDR4 DIMM slots and supports 8-channel memory interface with up to 2 TB total capacity and RDIMM or LRDIMM options. The AMD EPYC 7713 Milan processor has 64 cores and 128 threads. The testing involved two processors with a total of 128 and 256 cores and threads, respectively. Each chip has 32 MB of L2 cache and 256 MB of L3 cache, that is only 288 MB of cache memory. The chips were clocked at around 2.45 GHz, however there is no mention of whether it was base or overclocked. According to Executable Fix, the chip has an OPN code of 100.000000344. It looks like the EPYC 7713 is still an early sample and you can definitely expect higher clock speeds in the final version, as was the case with the Ryzen 5000 processors. In terms of performance in arithmetic tests, the AMD EPYC 7713 processor, even at a clock speed of 2.45 GHz, is on the same level and sometimes outperforms the Intel Xeon Platinum quad-core system, Cascade Lake SP, which is an excellent result. The processor currently ranks 4th in the arithmetic benchmark and easily outperforms the EPYC 7742 ROM dual configurations, which run at much higher clock speeds of 3.39 to 3.35 GHz. The top position is taken by 4 Intel Xeon Platinum 8280 liters processors, which are only 5% faster than the EPYC Milan configuration on Zen 3, and you can easily see that the final variants will easily top the performance rating. It's important to consider the performance per watt as well as the performance per dollar that EPYC Milan will offer versus Intel's Cascade Lake SP and even Ice Lake offerings expected next year. Let me remind you that AMD EPYC Milan processors will replace the current EPYC ROM line. A fundamental change for the EPYC Milan lineup will be the new Zen 3 core architecture, which will be based on an advanced 7nm process technology. Based on what is known and what AMD has officially demonstrated, EPYC Milan processors will focus primarily on improving overall performance per watt. AMD EPYC Milan processors with Zen 3 core architecture will not only feature a completely new chip architecture, but will also have a 19% increase in EPYC over Zen 2 processors and a 40% jump in performance per watt. The higher leap in processor performance will put AMD on par with the next generation Intel Xeon processors while delivering even greater levels of multithreading. In terms of new features, in addition to the Zen 3 core, Milan will offer socket compatibility with SP3 platforms, DDR4 memory, EPYC 4.0 interface. The chips will have a TDP of 120 to 225 watts, which is similar to the existing ROM generation processors.